What's up, YouTube? Welcome to another video. Today is March 2nd, 2024, and what an interesting week, both for the markets, for precious metals, all that good stuff. If you guys are into things like investing, gold, silver, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out my website, My Road to Wealth and Freedom. The link is in the description below. I wrote a bunch of articles like the top 10 silver bullion coins, top 10 gold coins, top 10 rare American coins, rare Canadian coins. The links are in the description below. Do me a favor, check that out if you guys are into that stuff. And a quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. The channel's for entertainment purposes only, so please consult a financial advisor and do your own research before making any investment decisions, including buying things like gold, silver, or pursuing any of the strategies I discuss on this channel. All right, guys, let's get into it. So first off, gold had a pretty good week. It's been hanging in there, basically doing nothing forever, it seems. And it closed the week out at 2091.60. So just a hair under 2,100 bucks US. Silver at 23.34. S&P 500 hit a record high. Nasdaq's at a record high. S&P 500 at 51.37. Of course, that's led by the Nvidias and Metas and whatnot. And I have to say I am stunned. I'm actually really surprised at the strength of not just the U.S. stock market, but at global markets. Stocks in Japan are hitting all-time highs. The Euro stocks, they're hitting at or near all-time highs. Canadian stocks are doing a lot better than what I would have thought. They are not at all-time highs, but not too far off them either. And it's just kind of making me really rethink and wonder. For the past so many years, there's been this, debate among financial analysts. Are we in for, deflation, a la Great Depression, or are we in for, a great inflationary move? Like the 1970s, or in the extreme, like Weimar hyperinflation. And it's really like, and then there are those, I think maybe like David Hunt or something like that. It talks about, we're going to get this melt up, this blow off top, then a major crash, depression, then, a huge inflation. I think Simon Hunt is also was one of those people, and David, I forget the guy's name though, but anyway, yeah. So it leaves kind of like the average investor kind of with his head spinning. It's like, because the assets that you would own for each of those scenarios are actually quite different, and it's really difficult to be like, okay, I know the end game for sure, so I will just go into all gold or all precious metals, that type of thing. Or I'll just go to cash or cash equivalents, short-term treasuries, money markets, that type of thing, waiting on this big crash. So my own personal take on all of that is I've always kind of maintained, like, I have my own thoughts, but you got to kind of guard against what for sure, because it ain't always so. I guess that's the old saying. And you want to kind of hedge your bets. So that's why I've been like broadly diversified, even into some things. I own a little bit of TLT. I just like, lots of money market funds, short term, that type of stuff. Even saving high interest savings account, you're getting 5%, which is not terrible. That said, our currencies are being debased and devalued. There's just an endless amount of debt creation coming out of, our governments, and the amount of deficit spending for peacetime with an economy that's relatively strong or holding in there is just insane. So sooner or later you have to pay the piper, and I'm not really sure where all this is really gonna head. But I do know that weeks like that we just had. Basically, I am really happy that I own some gold and silver, that I do own some Bitcoin, especially Bitcoin's quadrupled from where I was buying it, a year and a half ago. It's really crazy. Um, and that's not to say that it can all, end tomorrow or whatever, but I really do just really wonder kind of where all this is truly headed. If you guys have been following my channel, my position. I don't not like to have any debt whatsoever. So we're completely debt free, unlevered. I don't use leverage to make investments, and we sleep better at night for it. But it does sort of make you wonder. We've been putting off, and doing some renovations. We've been putting off, doing some different things, and you kind of wonder if we are set in this inflationary trend. Sort of makes me think that maybe we shouldn't be putting things like that off anymore. Maybe we should just be going ahead and doing it, because things keep getting more and more expensive, and price levels are holding and slowly increasing with inflation. Even though inflation comes down, that doesn't mean prices stay the same or go down. Prices are still increasing. It's just that the rate of the increase is slowing. So I think that's where maybe a lot of people are getting fooled. I am really surprised, though, at the strength of the U.S. stock market. Frankly, S&P 500 at 5,137. That's a close on Friday. I can't believe that. March 1st closes 5137. First time closing above 5,100 according to CNBC. NASDAQ took out the 2021 record. It's at 16,274. The Dow is a little over, almost at 39,100. So it's kind of creeping towards that Dow 40,000, So, on a kind of personal note, every month I calculate out our net worth and our passive income. And I want to see both kind of growing in the same direction, getting more and more. And luckily, February was a pretty decent month. It started off fairly rocky, I think. And, towards the end, it really picked up. And we're up about 20K for the month, and which isn't that bad because we had a lot of bills to pay. If you have children, you're putting them in like summer camp and that type of thing. You got to really buy all that crap up front. And so I was really kind of pleasantly surprised that we were able to grow our net worth by about 20K last month, in light of having crazy large credit card bills and stuff like that for things like, kids' summer camps and that type of stuff. So it feels good to have it all kind of paid up and paid for. And that's just kind of, so what I've been doing, basically more of the same. I'm still investing into and rebuilding my dividend portfolio. This is for Canadian dividend stocks. I've been buying shares in Bell, BCE, and they've basically been treading water. I think they're around, give or take $50 a share, and yielding nearly 8%, and that's kind of good enough for me. I've been buying the telcos, buying the utilities and pipeline stocks, just kind of out of favor. Even I was going to start buying a bit more into some of the gold miners, but I see they kind of rose 5-6% the other day, which is pretty good. It's about damn time these things kind of bounce back, man. If you've been holding these things, it's been one hell of a ride. And I just kind of like most investors, I guess, I'm just really not sure about a lot of these gold miners. You spend a lot of time underwater in these stocks, and very, very little of that is spent above essentially what you paid for. But there are those who feel or claim or think that gold is on the cusp of a big move. last month I heard the same thing. The month before I heard the same. I've been hearing the same old story, and that's why I think, to be real with people out there, you can't go buy these, commodity stocks, and especially like that includes these gold miners and that. You do kind of need to be careful. There's a lot of hype around them. There's a lot of see a lot of YouTube channels really hyping them, and I just think for the average person, you need to be aware that, you know, these stocks may not necessarily be for you. And if you could jump into them, please recognize they are a speculative investment. You do not bet the kids' college fund, the house money, and that on these type of stocks. Um, because if you need the money, you could be down significantly. A case in point, even with a blue chip, the largest gold miner, Newmont, the darling, gold miner and Barrick and that. I mean, these stocks, they're about half or less than half of what they were just a couple years ago. And gold is actually higher today than it was when they were at those levels. So you do kind of need to be careful. I have my full sort of weighting in these stocks like Newmont and a few of the others, some Franco Nevada and that. And I'm just kind of sitting and waiting. I'm happy where I'm at. I don't want to put any more into them, even though they may very well be the biggest bargains on the planet, as I keep hearing. But, I'm much more interested in my tried and true steady Eddie dividend stocks. So I'm happy to buy, you know, um, basically rebuild my old income portfolio. And I know, those stocks they've stood the test of time. They're basically consistent, steady Eddie um, stocks, and you know, uh, it's got they throw out a lot of cash flow, and I'm happy to be there right now anyway. And I mean, if the same catalyst that would really drive gold miners, uh, um, uh, basically drive these stocks up to, I don't want to say all time highs, but like get the momentum back behind them. An interest rate cut or QE is the exact same thing that's gonna move a lot of solid blue chip dividend stocks. That are really kind of um, they're essentially left to languish in this market. And so, I'm happy to diversify that in that way. And I know that I got a portfolio that's set up to do well regardless. And, if and when we do get these interest rate cuts, I'm going to be in a really good spot. And I hope most of you too will be there. Not only will our physical gold, um, do quite well, but the miners will pick up commodities. A lot of these dividend stocks that are yielding like crazy amounts right now. That's all going to kind of come back. Not only you'll get the price appreciation, and you'll also be happy that you bought it getting an 8% yield when it goes back down to 4 or 5 or something like that. So that's just kind of what I was thinking there. And yeah, looking forward to rebuilding that passive income. Um, Hopefully, this channel is starting to grow. And it's been almost 4 years since I've been doing this channel. And I've just tried to really just kind of keep it real, not be too sensational, and not pretend to know everything, right? Um, So I hope you guys have been enjoying the journey, following along. Um, I've also recently picked up another piece of gold. This is one of the old. If you guys been following the channel, you know how much I like these old gold coins. This is an old 1899 Russian 10 rubles. You'll see there I got a half eagle. Um, that type of stuff. And one particular coin missing from my collection. I have Prussian 20 marks, and the French roosters and all that stuff. But one of the coins that have been missing um, um, has been a gold sovereign, and And this past week at the LCS, I saw there was a really nice half sovereign. So it's not a a full gold sovereign. It's only a half sovereign, but it was a high grade mint example, and I decided to pick it up. And so that should probably arrive maybe sometime next week. I'll do a little video on that when I get it. And I'm still kind of waiting to get, the full on, gold sovereign. I don't know why I've stayed away from that coin. Maybe it's just that there's so many of them out there. There's so many mints that have produced them, South African, Australian, Indian, and Canadian mints that they're just really not as tough to find as, say, an old Russian ruble or a Prussian coin or whatever. But yeah, anyway, so I picked one of those up finally. I'm happy to kind of, slowly get into that. And, it's a little over a tenth of an ounce. I think it's 0.115 of an ounce or something like that. So it adds a little teensy weensy bit to the stack. And I'm happy to kind of purchase it. So that's the great thing about gold. If you guys are into coin collecting and stuff like that, there's just so many ways to acquire gold. You can get the pure, like the pure gold 24 karat bars, like the PAMP bars you see here. You can get, pure gold, maples and buffaloes and Britannias. Or if you're into kind of, some of the old vintage gold, you can pick up, a lot of these, half eagles. Just a beautiful coin. And, you got rubles. All of these coins are roughly about a quarter ounce, just a little bit less. But they are really great additions to a stack, a collection, just overall conversation pieces. I get, a lot of people asking me about, especially the old gold, I think, because that's what really, that gold was money, 100 years ago. And, the price of, something like this, I once read that Henry Ford, paid his workers, I think it was, $5 a week or something like that, $10 a week. And this is a $5 gold coin. And today, the melt value on this is probably around maybe 500 some US or something like that. And if you think about it today, what does the average, the vast majority of workers out there probably are earning somewhere about $500 a week. So, this holds its value over time and stuff. So that's sort of my point, because I used to think about that too. It's like, oh wow, like people used to make like $1 a day, like that's like so nothing, but it's actually quite substantial. That's almost about $100 a day in modern with our modern currencies and stuff like that. So it's something to think about, and it's just astonishing how devalued our currency has really become, since that time. But also not only since 1971 when we went off the gold standard and that, but even just since like 2020, where they, increased the amount of currency by 40%, and led to this kind of inflationary surge. So anyway, it's all about sort of keeping perspective, and kind of not losing your mind, being, moving slow, methodical, building long-term wealth. And that's been sort of my approach. It's just kind of slowly acquire, slowly build wealth. Oh, it takes a while. It takes, probably a good solid 10 to 15 years for if you're serious about finances, getting your home paid off, getting out of debt, saving in retirement, saving for the kids' education, build a little bit of, alternative wealth with gold and silver and Bitcoin. Yeah, It just takes time. It means living below your means and, deferring, some big purchases, right? That's all there is. So yeah, stay tuned for my video next week. Hope you enjoyed these little chats and videos. I'd really appreciate it if you guys went over to my website, My Road to Wealth and Freedom, and check out a lot of those coin articles. If you're interested in silver bullion, gold bullion, rare U.S., Canadian coins and that, go check it out. And let me know what you think. Take care.